Welcome to Joy for the Journey, the podcast where we explore the winding paths of purpose, faith, and joy. I'm your host, Joy, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. Are you a woman seeking more than just existence and a soul yearning for fulfillment, purpose, and unwavering joy? Well, you're not alone. In this sacred space, we'll navigate the highs and lows, the doubts and triumphs, and the divine whispers guiding us toward our true calling. Through candid conversations, inspiring stories, and practical insights, Joy for the Journey is your compass, your confidant, and your catalyst for embracing the abundant life God intends for you. So if you're ready to reclaim your joy, renew your hope, and rediscover the woman God created you to be, join me on this adventure. Let's walk together step by step towards a life filled with purpose, passion, and unbridled joy. This is Joy for the Journey. Welcome aboard. Hey, welcome to Joy for the Journey. I'm Joy Jackson, and I am once again so very grateful that you have decided to take this journey with me and that you are a part of the Speaking of Joy community. I don't take it lightly. I really don't take it lightly that you spend your time with me. I don't take it lightly that you are sharing this, that you're commenting, that you're liking this podcast, and I hope that it has blessed you and ministered to you the way it has to me. And now that I'm halfway through it, I realized that when I started the podcast, I jumped right into content talking about purpose and talking about my story, but I never told you why April was the month that I even decided to launch this. So if you're getting my emails, you're getting emails that are called April Awakening, because y'all, this month has been a month of awakening for me. I've been walking this purpose journey pretty much for the better part of my life. I have always been committed to doing what God has called me to do. I've always been committed to being the woman that God has called me to be, to being the wife, the mother, the daughter, the friend, the sister, you name it. I have really tried my best to be that in so many ways. But over the last couple of months, I can tell you that trying to be all those things left me drained. And I'm not just talking about drained like, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired. Oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm talking about emotionally drained. I'm talking about physically drained. I'm talking about psychologically drained. I'm talking about financially drained. I'm talking about being in a season where I don't have anything left to give. Not to my husband, not to my kids, not to my family, let alone to myself. I'm talking drained. And I realize how I got here. Like, I am not sitting here trying to act as if I don't know how I got here. I got here trying to be perfect. I got here trying to be everything to all the people all the time. I got here by not establishing clear boundaries. I got here by not saying no. I got here by investing in people who were not fruitful. I got here by investing in people with an expectation that they couldn't meet. I got here by being too far away from God. And so I got drained. Think about the drain in the sink. When you stop it up, it will hold water for so long. But the minute that you let the stopper go, all of the water runs out. And it's not until you put the stopper back in and fill it back up, you get full again. And that's where I've been. Had the stopper, I was full. Pull that plug, and baby, everything started running out. And the truth is, I never stopped to fill myself back up. Yeah, I had good days. Yeah, I had some things that I did here and there. Yeah, I had some opportunities and some fun, and I got to let my hair down. As much hair as I have, got to let it down, but I never truly got the ability to fill myself back up. And so the more and more I gave, the more and more I spent, the more and more energy I exerted, the less I had to be refueled. And I'll tell you, we live in a world of people and situations who will drain you. And I truly believe that people don't intend to drain you. You just happen to be available to carry their load too. Matter of fact, my husband and I were having a conversation. He was having a conversation with a dear friend of ours, and he said something that you may have heard, but it was the first time I had heard it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm adopting this. He said, there's a difference between a burden and a load. If you think about it, there's a difference between a burden and a load. A load is something you carry from one destination to another. And the goal with the load is to drop it off. A burden is something that you hold on to, that you carry, that tends to break you down and weigh you down. And I realized I was carrying a whole lot of burdens. Some of my own, some from other people, some in my head, some from the weight of the world, some from the weight of the enemy. I just been carrying a lot of burdens. And so I've been drained. And I decided, really like March, but really kicked off in April, I was no longer going to allow myself to be drained, that I could do something about it. Second thing, I was discouraged. I know you've heard me talk about it many times, but I've been discouraged. And don't let the podcast, don't let the TEDx, don't let the corporate clients, don't let the coaching clients fool you. You've heard me say it. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I thought I needed a marketing degree. I thought I needed all of these special skills. So when I jumped into entrepreneurship, I was building the plane and flying it at the same time. Still am to some degree. Thank God I haven't crashed. But I came in with my eyes wide open and excited. And I started reaching out and making connections. And then people started saying, oh, you should do this and you should do that and you should do this. So I got so confused. And then I put an investment over here and tried that. I put an investment over here. I tried that. Tried to listen to people who've done it before, who some of them wouldn't even tell you the truth about what they did, but wouldn't tell you how it went. And then they told you all the great things and they showed you the revenue and they showed you all of these, I'm a 6-figure this and all of that. But they didn't tell you about the dark days. They didn't tell you about the days you struggle. They didn't tell you about the days that my coach would say is your messy middle. And so we always talk about millennials who feel like they're going to own a company overnight. I felt that way. I felt like, listen, this is good stuff. I'm going to show up. I'm going to speak because I'm anointed to speak and I can talk about anything. And I'm going to put it out there and people are going to run to it. Yeah, that didn't happen. And then I'm like, God, this is what you called me to do. This is what you told me to do. What's going on? So I got discouraged because then I started to see savings account dwindle. I started to sweat a little bit. I started to have more conversations with Stephen about our future. I started to see him struggle and be stressed about things that were changing in our lives. And so I'm like, this can't be it, God. So I got discouraged. And you wouldn't have known it because I'm still trusting. I'm still believing. I still even have a word for you of encouragement. But then I'm like, well, who's encouraging me? And it was yesterday in church, my pastor was talking about David when the Amalekites had already taken the land and had burned everything down, took all of their treasure, took all of their people. And the scripture says, David encouraged himself in the Lord. Check out 1 Samuel 30:6. David was so distraught and so distressed. The people decided that they were ready to stone him, and he was so frustrated. But then it said he encouraged himself in the Lord. And I believe that part of why I was discouraged is because I wasn't focused on God in the way that I've been in the past. I was focused on me. I was focused on my business. I was focused on my family. I was focused on my kids. I was focused on everything but the work that God had called me to do. And I listened to people and I tried to do it their way. And every time I tried to do it their way, God was like, that's not what I have for you. I want you to do it the way that I'm calling you to do it. And your journey is going to be different. Your journey is not going to be like everyone else. Oh, let me tell you, sister, if you're listening to this, your journey is different. Your journey is not like everyone else. Stop looking out your side eye or looking out of the window or looking on social media, expecting your journey to be the same. It's not. You are beautiful and unique. Your journey is beautiful and unique. And so when I really finally decided that I was going to stop looking at other people, I started to find myself a little more encouraged. Because I was discouraged because I saw these big time coaches. I saw these big time speakers. I saw these wives and these mothers. I'm going to be honest, I saw things to compare myself. And I'm like, well, why isn't this happening for me? So I got discouraged. And I'm like, God, I don't know if this is what you want me to do. You've heard me talk about it. Started applying for jobs. Like, this can't be what it is. And I'm willing to just put Speaking of Joy on the back burner so that I can get back into work so that we can see some progress and some movement. Because maybe if I get some money, then I can invest in Speaking of Joy to make it this big thing. So I got discouraged. And then the last one, I got distracted. All of that I just told you was a distraction. And the enemy wanted me to stay distracted because as long as he kept me not focused on what God has called me to do and how special and unique I am, the more I drifted further away. So I got distracted. I found everything else that I could do to prevent me from moving in the direction God wanted me to do. I would have excuses. I would set deadlines and then I would just let the deadline slip. I would start a project and not finish the project, or I would start a project and then start 20 other ones. I would just sit still sometime like, I just need a break. I can't do this anymore. All of those things. And I found myself distracted. And the distraction came subtly. It wasn't something that happened like major. It was subtle. I mean, little things like I would have a good day, whether it was personal or professional, I'd have a good day. And then the minute that I would be like, oh, God is good, this is a wonderful day, something would challenge me. And then I would get off of the fact that God is good and God is a provider and God is a healer and God is all of these things. And I would instantly go into what wasn't right. The other distractions that I found was with my time. I let people distract me. I let things distract me. I let my thoughts distract me. And so I started having this self-talk, and some of the self-talk was negative self-talk. Some of the self-talk was imposter syndrome. All the things that I tell us we should fight every day, those things became a part of my rehearsed speech to myself. So I got distracted, and not to the point where I was like, I'm done. This ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. But to the point where I was like, should I be doing something else? Should I be in another season of my life? Am I the person for this? Am I the person for that? Should I even invest in this? So I became distracted with so many thoughts that I wasn't able to move forward. And it wasn't until really probably like March that I just was tired. I gave up and I said, Lord, I can't do this anymore. If you don't take the reins, I'm about to lose it. And has anybody been there where you're like, if God doesn't step in, if I don't let go, I'm going to absolutely lose it. And everything that I've been trying to hold together will begin to unravel. That's kind of how I felt my life was going. Like when you get a shoestring or a rope and it starts to unravel at the end, and it's first very small, little bitty fuzz. But if you don't get that thing together, all of a sudden that unraveling becomes just completely torn apart. And that's how I was feeling. And so in March, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and we started talking about the season of life we were in. And I realized in that moment that I was out of control. I realized in that moment that I needed to do something different. And God, being the gentle, loving Father that He is, He sent someone my way to challenge me. And our conversation was rough. She challenged me to really stop the discouragement, stop the disconnection, stop all of the frustrating thoughts, stop all of the distractions, stop all of that, and do it. And so this is how I got to the podcast. It was a challenge, a personal challenge. Here's how she said it. What do you need to specifically do to launch your business and to get your business where you want it to be? And I was like, I don't know. And I started hemming and hawing. I don't know. So she started telling me some things to do. And one of the things she said was you need to send an email out every day to your audience. And you need to do a daily podcast. What do you think about that? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't have enough to talk about. Why would I do that? That requires a lot of preparation. And here was her exact words. No, bump that. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to send an email out every day to your audience. And you're going to do a daily podcast. It's not an option. So here we are, 16 days later, doing a daily podcast and also sending out emails that are really emails from the heart. And I'll be honest, it wasn't easy because the first thing I wanted to do was make it perfect. That's my nature. So I wanted every piece to be in line. I was about to literally hire someone to record my podcasts. I'm going to show you some pictures later, but when I first started this podcast, I was wearing a lapel mic. That's why you hear all the pops and the clicks. I just bought a podcast mic because I didn't think this was going to last. God is so good. Oh my gosh, He is so good. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to be encouraged about the journey. It's not always pretty. It's not always beautiful. There are some struggles. There are some frustrations, but it is so worth it. When you decide and make up in your mind for real that you are committed to doing the work that God has called you to do, you do it unapologetically. You do it with fervor. You do it with excitement. Yeah, you're going to fall. Yeah, you're going to stumble, but you do it in a way that honors you and honors Him. And so as I'm sitting here, yeah, I was drained. Yes, I was discouraged. And yes, I was distracted. But now I am committed. I am committed to the work that I am supposed to be doing. I am committed to you. I am committed to this journey. I am committed to being the woman God created me to be. And that's a woman who gives. That's a woman who loves. And this is my new saying. I love out loud. I love out loud. I love people. I love God's people. And my joy is to see you become the woman that you were created to be. And I keep saying that, but if I say it enough, you'll start to believe it. You were created to be amazing. I was created to be amazing. It is the season of us walking in that authority, in that beauty. So I want to encourage you today, if you are drained, if you are discouraged, and if you are distracted, stop right now and say enough. It's literally that easy. Say enough, and then choose to be different. Choose to do different. And you don't have to take off all the things, because it's a process. So just choose one thing right now today that you can change. Maybe it's setting a boundary. Maybe it's being obedient to God. Maybe it's choosing self-care. Maybe it's finding a therapist. Maybe it's writing out your vision. Maybe it's discovering your values. Maybe it's booking a coach. But I challenge you just today to do one thing to move the needle and to operate in the space that you know you can. Because once you do it, you get an April awakening. And it doesn't have to be April, right? It can be May. It can be any day. I just chose that the month of April, I was going to do it big. The month of April, I was going to do it unapologetically. The month of April, I was going to do it as if my life depended on it. And friends, it's been the best thing I could do. And I truly can say that I've got joy for the journey. I'll talk to you soon. Welcome to Joy for the Journey, the podcast where we explore the winding paths of purpose, faith, and joy. I'm your host, Joy, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. Are you a woman seeking more than just existence and a soul yearning for fulfillment, purpose, and unwavering joy? Well, you're not alone. In this sacred space, we'll navigate the highs and lows, the doubts and triumphs, and the divine whispers guiding us toward our true calling. Through candid conversations, inspiring stories, and practical insights, Joy for the Journey is your compass, your confidant, and your catalyst for embracing the abundant life God intends for you. So if you're ready to reclaim your joy, renew your hope, and rediscover the woman God created you to be, join me on this adventure. Let's walk together step by step towards a life filled with purpose, passion, and unbridled joy. This is Joy for the Journey. Welcome aboard.